What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification as always, and put it on all so that you get notified straight away as soon as we drop the new content. So let's get into this one. This weekend gone's action between unified light heavyweight champion Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith from Liverpool. And this was a fight for the three belts that Beterbiev had, and it pretty much was one of those fights where there was no shock, there was no upset. This went exactly as I think most predicted. There were some people picking Callum Smith, but I for one just couldn't see past Artur Beterbiev and his 100% knockout record, and he just proved to be once again the superior fighter, and you could kind of see you could basically see it from the very opening bell from the first round, because from the first round, very early in the fight, as soon as that bell rung, Beterbiev was able to get over there and get right into Callum Smith's face almost immediately. He was able to immediately sort of get to him, be up close, be personal, start landing his shots straight away. And Smith was almost like he got caught a little bit by surprise in terms of how early Beterbiev struck. And you could just see that Beterbiev, throughout this fight, his advantages in which I didn't really mention before the fight, but you noticed it during the fight that Beterbiev, he definitely had an advantage in his foot speed and the amount of shots he was able to get through. I mean, the advantages that Smith should, well, he physically did have in height. 6'3". Beterbiev, he's about, I don't know, about 6 foot 5'11". One of those two. He's a couple of inches shorter, but he's at disadvantage height wise. But really and truly, Callum Smith was unable to sort of make his advantage count, the physical advantages count. It was almost as if they pretty much accounted for nothing, because Beterbiev was pretty much able to walk through him, and because Callum Smith is he's the slower man as far as it goes, when it comes to feet, hand speed. So he was able to have his moments, Callum Smith, but his moments just sort of came in between Beterbiev's domination. And Beterbiev is one of those guys that you could see throughout this fight. He hits that hard that it almost doesn't matter how much effort he's putting into it. Because you see in boxing, you see some punches where they've really got to swing and they've really got to put their waist into it and put. You can see they're really exerting themselves to land power shot. But with Beterbiev, it's just like a walk in the park. Even the powerful shots he's landing, even when he's landing on gloves, you can see that there's a grimace on the face of Callum Smith. And Beterbiev just sort of stepped it up continually as the fight went on. And one thing that, I noted about him before the fight, and it was evident during the fight, is that even on the back foot, he's still dangerous. Because even moments like, I think it was round two, where Callum Smith had his moments where he landed combinations. He was responding to what Beterbiev was doing a little bit and having a bit of success, landing a few shots. But even on the back foot, Beterbiev is clever. He's watching him, still able to, and he's countering him again with hard shots. So it's like wherever Beterbiev is in the ring, if you're the opponent, unless you're made out of the same stuff he's made out of, you tough as nails or a granite chin or something, you've got to worry even when he's on the back foot about what's coming back. And yeah, this was pretty much a dominant performance by Beterbiev. He just proved to be, the faster man with his hands and feet, and just that punching power just basically brought an end to proceedings. as it all ended in the seventh round, where Smith, you could see in preceding rounds where he was taking some punishment, and the problem he was having was that Beterbiev was just able to sort of push him back to the ropes multiple times throughout the fight, and he just couldn't do anything sort of against that. I mean, I think my remarks before the fight were that, you need to sort of try and keep Beterbiev off with a stiff jab, but Beterbiev was able to pretty much whatever Callum Smith would throw at him on the way in, Beterbiev pretty much just walked through it, and then as he's on the inside, he would do his damage, and he's happy to land anywhere he can, the body, the head, even on the gloves, and he's weakening Smith bit by bit, and it all comes to an end in round seven, where Callum Smith he gets knocked down the first time. He does look bewildered. You did get the impression watching it that basically it's all over from here. But to Smith's credit, in spite of that, he did get up, he did rise to his feet. He was clever. He waited until the count of eight, rises to his feet. But then, as Beterbiev is a superb finisher, jumps on Callum Smith again and just basically bludgeons him to a pulp into the ground again. Buddy McGirt tries to signal to the ref that's over. The ref still counts. Buddy McGirt, who's Smith's trainer, he jumps in the ring and just causing a halt to it, which to me is the right decision, because at the end of the day, you're by not throwing the towel, you're only delaying the inevitable, and at the end of the day, it's his fighter, so he's got to have the best interests of his fighter at heart. So yeah, it was pretty much a very dominant performance by Artur Beterbiev. It's one of these fights where you could argue he didn't lose a round, because he was just pretty much having things his way all throughout the fight, and it really does make you have to give some credit to Anthony Yard, because Anthony Yard actually gave Beterbiev a hard fight. And as others have mentioned, like on Hatman's video was mentioning the unorthodox style of Anthony Yard, the fact that Anthony Yard was quick, it was, athletic, he moved a lot, he gave Beterbiev a lot of angles, so he made him actually have to think and have to fight hard and have to work hard to find him. So he presented a different challenge, whereas Smith was more upright, is more conventional in his style. So he's got the type of style where it's easier for Beterbiev to deal with. So yeah, it was a straightforward demolition job. And now we're hoping to get the Bivol fight next. I think His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh has is gonna be more than happy to stage that fight back in Saudi Arabia, and I for one look forward to that fight. That's a fight that, as much as I would have been happy as obviously a guy from over here in England to see one of your own win a fight like that. Fantastic, I'd be happy for him. But at the same time, I really do want to see what happens when Beterbiev and Bivol get in the ring. I think at the moment you might want to favor, because we've just seen Beterbiev, you might want to favor him. But for me, it's kind of 50-50, because I think Bivol has got a lot of excellent boxing attributes, the speed, the movement, the angles. He's got all the moves there to cause Beterbiev problems. And he might, as much as we think, oh, Beterbiev probably gets to him at some point, knocks him out. That's a big possibility. But at the same time, Bivol is so good that he might be able to implement a plan where he just outboxes Beterbiev and doesn't stay on the ropes, and uses angles, uses his pivots, uses all of the ring and movement, and he might just be able to outbox Artur Beterbiev. I'm curious to see it, and for me, it's one of those where I'd be on the fence about it, but I'd just be happy if we get the fight. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this dominant performance by Artur Beterbiev, knocking out Callum Smith in just 7 rounds. And then, of course, what do you think about Bivol versus Beterbiev, which, according to His Excellency, who seems to be the go-to man, that fight, I don't think it's signed yet, but it's getting ready to be signed for some point during this year. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out.